Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Flying with Friends, the first 50 years. Today, I'm privileged to have my very good buddy, Dave Yakubak, with us. Um, Dave and I go back to 1987 when we were flying the OV-10 together at George. But today's episode is going to be a little more current than that. We're only going to go back to 2014, where Dave was one of the most valuable players on my 60 for 60, where I made 60 parachute jumps on my 60th birthday. And Dave came over and flew 15 of those jumps. So, with that introduction, what I'd like to do is say, welcome, Dave. Happy to have you. And can you just share with us some of your memories?
Thank you, Mo. Well, I'd say 60 at 60 is MVP performance all by itself. My gosh. Everybody I tell about that, they find it hard to believe. But that was, well, man, what an experience. What a great experience and what an honor. What an honor to be invited to be one of your jump pilots. Something I'd never done before in aviation, and that was very cool.
When were you going to tell me that you'd never done that before?
Now.
It's a good thing I had parachutes on. Like, never flown a 182, never flown jumpers. It's like, what?
Right.
Holy cow.
Yeah, never done that. But I did okay.
You did awesome.
I learned quick.
You learned quick, and I would say that when we were looking back on cycle time, you were the all-star. You had it down. You had the tightest. Your 15 jumps that you did, we were averaging about 6 minutes a jump.
6 minutes, yeah. VY, baby. It works.
Exactly.
You know, you fly that VY and make sure that you make that turn right over where you need to be, and we're very lucky that it worked out. But the fun part was racing you down.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how to create enough drag without hurting the airplane, and making as tight approach as you could. That was, stabilized approach over the middle of the overrun was about the most fun I've had in an airplane in a long time.
Exactly.
That was a lot of fun.
And so for me, under the parachute, I had to have a stabilized approach too, because my landing gear, I could bend up my landing gear, and that would take all the fun out of it. So the weather, that front that passed through the night before, was a little bit slow in clearing, but once it cleared, we had perfect conditions where we had a nice gentle wind out of the west right down the runway. So we were spotting a little bit long, so I could jump out, get my parachute, turn, and just be on a straight downwind, turn base, land, and then boom, here you are. I've already got my new chute on, and off we go and do it again.
And that's kind of how I got in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah,
you know what? So you're in this. You're immersed in it. There's nothing in this world more important than getting Mo back in the airplane and getting back in the air. And so, okay, well, there's Mo. He's got a parachute on. He's on his way to the pickup point, and I'm not there yet. So now I'm holding the show up, and I'm pretty sure I made the wheels make noise, but I stayed on all three of them.
Exactly.
I can certainly say I did that.
And there were no skid marks or anything like that?
No skid marks. No, not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. And I think, at least on the wheels.
At least on the wheels.
And other
oh my God. Yeah. Well, yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
But no, I remember learning how to do this from Tommy the day before.
Right. Yeah.
He was as patient as he could be, knowing Tommy and knowing me. A door that does this, a door that does this. The more you do that, it was a different world for me and so the next morning there's fog. I'm ready to go, but I'm a little deep in the lineup there, and so I'm just kind of waiting. I'm kind of looking, and now I'm getting a little nervous because never done this before, and I did it yesterday, so. So anyway, that first one was nervous. Yeah. My entire aviation career, every time I'm about ready to take an airplane off, I take a deep breath. I've got 20-something thousand hours of flying time, and I still sit at the end of the runway and take a deep breath. And I remember that deep breath with you in the airplane on the first jump. And then after that, it was just as fun as it could be.
Yeah. It was cool. It was such a magical day. And, I think about, certainly the important part that you played, getting 15 of those really compressed jumps, which is really important. But the whole team, between Catherine and Lucas packing, 60 parachute jumps, every opening was magical. And we talked a little bit about what if I'd had a cutaway? We're at minimum altitude. Maybe my mind, just going from one jump to the next, you're on jump number whatever 49 or something like that for the day, and you have a malfunction. Well, now I'm doing a cutaway, low altitude, landing away from the landing area. Now I got to get my gear. Maybe I'm a little bit kerfluffled a little bit, and it upsets the rhythm. We go from 4 parachutes to 3. It didn't happen.
Right.
It was so perfect.
Amazing.
It was amazing.
60 packings, not a single
Every one
problem.
was smooth as butter. And then the weather was gorgeous. Norman Kent did just an incredible job, world-class job on capturing all of the magic on video, cutting and pasting. I think there were 360 transitions on that video. He did a magic job of just capturing.
You got to give it to your safety guys too. I mean, safety guys never get any credit. They always get the blame.
Operating behind the scenes.
The fact that there's no blame to give, that's huge.
Doug and Dave did an awesome job. Marion and the girls from Texas were awesome. All the friends, all the family. I was stunned when my brother made a jump. It was like, wow, okay, how cool is that? So,
well, that community though has a lot to say about you. Has a lot to say about everybody's love and respect for you, and the fact that they'd come from all over the country to be a part of something like that. And just from my heart, it was such an honor. Sorry about that. It was such an honor.
Pounding heart.
My pounding heart.
Well, Dave, thank you very much. It was such an honor for me to, reach back to my Air Force days. You and I reconnecting over time into such a special event, and now, guess what? It goes on. We're not done yet. We still have a couple more episodes here with Flying with Friends.
Yep.
And maybe next week or the week after, we're going to have another little miniature Bronco reunion, to celebrate the life of one of our brothers who's passed on. So, and that's kind of the intent of the channel here, is to connect with friends, keep these connections alive and tight. And I hope you've enjoyed today's episode with Dave and celebrating my 60 jumps on my 60th birthday. And I look forward to seeing you again on the next episode. Thank you very much for being here.